Let me go ahead and record that. So I'll just show you the training schedule real quick so you can see the actual training schedule because I don't have it memorized.
My laptop, because I'm on my laptop. I just have my so I can talk to you myself, but I'm on my laptop also. So where do I see that?
You can just see it. Are you seeing my screen?
Let me see. I'm on ManyChat's community. Okay, so but wait, on my laptop, I have one question. I have to load down the Zoom, right?
Yeah,
Do
yeah.
I?
You need. Yeah,
Oh, okay.
you should have Zoom
Okay.
installed to attend these sessions. But you can see. Hey, what's up, Steve? You can
Hey,
see.
John, how you doing, mate?
I'm doing great, man. You can see these training schedules. It's the same schedule every day, 9 a.m. to 11 a.m., 12 p.m. to 1 p.m., 2 p.m. to 4 p.m., 5 p.m. to 6 p.m., 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. All times are in EST every Saturday in December.
Sounds good. I've signed up to that. That's going to be good, mate. Looking forward to it. Thanks for your time. Appreciate it.
No problem. What you got going on today? Any particular thing you wanna see or learn today, Steve?
Yeah, there's something that I've been kind of experimenting with, and it's more like a hack. But I used to run a lot of referral campaigns. You know, like someone signs up, they get a referral link, they share it with their friends, they get some points, and they kind of increase up, work their way up the leaderboard, the ladder, or whatever it might be. And I don't have the chops to kind of build that, but I use a platform called Mitre app, and I've actually got it working. The idea is that they have a feature in there. Once you set the contest up, you don't actually have to have the user put their name and email address in the form, as long as you can get the email address. And you splice the email address against this kind of JavaScript link, that they go to a landing page, and then they're given their sharing link. So I've actually got a rough bot of that, and I'd like to show you it, if that's all right.
Yeah, that's great. Let's see it.
All right, let me, I've got to get on. I'll just go to the chat, your demo bot, right? And just fire it in there.
Yeah, or you could just share your screen if you want. You could just share your screen and kind of show us there if you want.
Yeah. No, I've just dropped the link through anyway, but yeah, happy to share screen as well. So
yeah, so let's do that. Just go ahead and share your screen.
All right. So Zoom and share screen, and I think it will be the one that you're on. So if I close that out, let's put it back up. Share screens. Try again. Desktop one. I can't actually see. Oh, yes, I can. Is that? Yeah. Can you see my screen?
Yep.
Okay, cool. So basically, if I go back to the opt-in, it's pretty straightforward. But from here, I just asked somebody, enter the name of the contest. They click to enter. There's the prize, just explaining the prize.
Now, the only thing I'd want to tell you there is I would really recommend you take that, and it looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 or 6 different messages you want to chop that second screen up into.
Yeah, like I say, this I definitely would get to that point, but I just wanted to kind of take it through. And this is the key point here, John.
Okay.
What this does is say, excellent, right, you've entered, you put the email address in, some text here saying creating the link, and then we can pull up this link here, right?
Mm-hmm.
If I take you through the flow, if you want to sign up, you'll see what happens. I've sent the link.
This is all your welcome message here? This is your welcome
message? Well,
this
is, at the moment, I'm not optimizing the text. I just wanted to get a flow going to show the most important part here is generating the share link that can be tracked.
Okay.
Okay, so if you go to Messenger, did you get the link?
Yep.
So this, if you're on my screen, that's the key here. Now it's using a third-party app called Miter app.
Mm-hmm.
And it takes to a landing page, and there's a bit of JavaScript they give you that you can embed in in the header or the footer of the page. Then as long as you've got your landing page URL, which is this one, this extension here, say Meta email, and then the user's email, they're automatically signed into Meta app, entered into the drawer. At which point they're taken to a landing page where they're encouraged to share. And from that point, that share will go back to the landing page and so on. It's all very crude. It's not designed. But what I'd love to do is to know if that's possible all within ManyChat. To create, to find a way to encourage people to share the campaign, the URL, whatever that might be, and some way track referrals, and then create a reward scheme inside ManyChat.
Well, that is a tough one.
Yeah, I figured that. So this is why I've been looking at the kind of, utilizing a third-party app to do most of that heavy lifting.
So this link is not generated until I come to your site, right? The share link.
Well, it is. There's this link here. That's like just a demo test landing page. There's nothing on it except a button that links to the chat.
Right. And but that first link that's generated in the bot is just used to drive somebody to your landing page, where then your custom JavaScript extracts out the email, enters them in, and then basically generates that custom link that they would be sharing to get points.
Exactly. And this is if you can see my screen, this is the link that they would basically be sharing with a tracking link that Meta app have added. The way that I'm figuring this is that we can run some ads to the contest on, like click for like or comment for like or something, you a JSON ad, and really kind of ramp up some people signing up here and generate the signups. That's the idea. But I appreciate it's pretty heavy lifting, so probably a bit too heavy for training here. But this is the type of flow that I think would be really, really interesting for marketing purposes, especially for pre-launching, promoting campaigns and so on.
Right. I'm not sure. I mean, we could, if we had a way to get this share link from that I'm seeing on my screen, it's giving me the share link where I can go in and share this now with I can share this, not that link, but I got this other other link. Where did my chat go? I got this other link here. So if we could figure out a way to get that link back into ManyChat, then we could store that as a custom field, and then we could populate some card with that custom field link, and then just have people go in and actually share that out.
Yeah, exactly. So all they have is they have a webhook, but that's on a kind of top plan, which I don't have at the moment. But they have a webhook for Zapier. So I think it's possible once the link's generated by them, that will trigger a webhook, and I suppose I could drop that into a Google Sheet and match that with a ManyChat ID.
What's the name of Can you just drop the name of that company that you're using inside?
Yes, mate. Yes, mate. It's Meta. That's it. It's pretty cool. I've run some over the time. I'm just going to go to chat. Where are you? There you are. All right. Yeah. It's a pretty solid platform. I've run some good campaigns on that over the time, but I'm just looking. I think it would be really awesome if we could get something going for, all native to ManyChat or using some sort of Zapier wizardry.
Yeah, well, from what I could see is they don't have any app on Zapier at all. So from what
they don't. It's a webhook.
Right. So that means that webhook, though, is going to be a post only. That's going to be a one-way from Zapier into them and not from them into Zapier is what that means.
Got it. Okay. Well, then that's, yeah. But okay, so here's a little bit more of a hook or a little workaround. They actually have a active campaign integration. So I was thinking maybe have like a 2-3 step zap that can search active campaign. So once somebody signs up, you can create a custom field in active campaign. And once you've got that, I guess you can pass that to Zapier and then back into ManyChat. It's a bit convoluted, I agree, but
Right. Lots of stuff going on there. So
yeah, okay. All right. Well, how do I stop sharing screen? So we get back to your stuff.
I'm just probably.
Okay, John, sign up for Saturday then, okay?
Yeah, great. So sign up for Saturday. That will be lots of value there. So while we're here, what else do you guys want to go over and see and try to learn today while we're here?
Well, I'm actually I'm at the basics, so that's why I said I just don't want, waste your time, and I'll, write down everything that I need to know for my business, on what to do. And then on Saturday I could just, I won't be at a blank, and I'll just go over everything on my list.
So what is your business, by the way?
Well, it's my husband. He does well, we have two, but he has a repair shop, automotive repair shop, and he just needs to get it out there. And I need to kind of talk to him and see what giveaways he can do, like what days or what, so I add it on there. And then on mine, I do a notary. I'm a notary, and so I don't have mine up. I don't have anything up. So, that would be good for me.
So you do what is it again?
Notary Public.
What's that?
It's notarizing paperwork.
Oh, you're a notary. Okay.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Okay.
So I any advertisement for that. So, I think it'd be a good idea for me to get in there and do that.
Well, I could see for your husband how it could work great for your husband. I mean, obviously he could create he could either source or create some videos on doing, some basic maintenance to vehicles, right? How to do this, how to change your brakes, how to change your oil, how to do some basic repairs to videos. So he could do stuff like that. He could go in and give you, some tips on how to keep your things that you should be doing to your vehicle to keep from having to repair it. He could even do some sequence for, basic maintenance, right? To go in and have some flow to collect some information about your vehicle. Let's say last time you've got it serviced, last time that you got your oil changed, and collect that information from you, and then send out reminders and say, hey, it's time for you to. I think it's time for you to go in and get your oil changed today, or do a basic tune-up on your vehicle. I've got a discount for you if you want to come in today and do it. Do you want to schedule it for another day? He could do scheduling through it as well. So that's all things that would probably be really useful to him. As far as for a notary,
should I just, for my notary, should I just put I don't know, I guess I could just do any kind of ad, really, to get it going.
From a notary perspective, it doesn't seem like that's a service that you could really broadcast and promote. And that's not, I mean, that notary service is a sought after, in demand service. It's not something like, I can't send you a discount and say, hey, come get your papers notarized today and save some money and drive traffic, because if you don't have anything to get notarized, then it doesn't, I mean.
Right. I get it. Okay. So I'll get all the information on his, and then I'll go over it with you on Saturday.
Okay.
Cool.
Sounds great.
Okay. Thank you, John.
For you, John.
What's that?
I've got one more for you.
Yeah, what's that?
All right. I'm going to drop the link in. It's a demo for a dentist. Yeah.
Okay.
So if you click through it, do you want me to share screen again, or?
Yeah, that's fine if you share the screen again. That's totally fine.
All right, mate. Hang on.
Now, this demo for the dentist, this in the same bot, right?
Yeah, because it's just this is my bot that I'm using to kind of experiment on stuff, and just using growth tools to send to potential clients, who then can at least experience the bot flow.
Okay, I would still recommend that you break these up into different bots so that you don't have some dentists get confused and go from this flow into it and somehow get into another flow and then think that. I mean, people are so stupid.
No, it's a different bot. It's a different growth tool with its own content. So there's no way.
Right. Let's say it's a different bot, but it's all. I mean, it's a different growth tool, but it's essentially all the same. It's all the same bot, right? So you got keywords set up, right?
Not in this one. No, not yet.
Okay, so you don't have any way for people to get to flows other than the ref links?
At the moment, no. This is just the way that I found it was quite easy to kind of, put a demo together and just kind of send it on.
Okay.
But I know what you mean, because people are going to search for one thing and maybe that'll cross over into another. So do you reckon I should set up a page and a demo bot for each vertical?
Totally. That's it. If you're trying to do sales, that's totally what I recommend. You set up a dentist bot, and then what you do is whenever you want to target somebody, you spend a little bit of time and you go to their website, pull in their content, and just have these little generic content models. And then you can just quickly, if you create everything generically, you can go in and create, content for dentist A, dentist B, dentist C, right? You go in and pre-create that content. Now you can easily go in and, let's say, even on the same day, you go visit all three guys, take your laptop with you, go to the first guy, you got his content loaded up, show him the demo, and then as you leave, you can go and just easily replace your keywords and replace some of your tools with this other content module that you created for the next guy. Go in that way, whenever you show each and every one, they see content already from their website, content that they've already published that they're already in love with, and it's going to be a lot easier to make a sale to them because it already feels like their thing.
Yeah, I mean like this demo here is that this is a specific dentist that I've been building a relationship with and used the content from their website. So this is purely just an example to show them of what could be possible.
Right.
There's an element on this though that I'd like you to look at. It's the section where it's from the navigation. And it's called Book an Appointment. Do you want me to share my screen?
Yeah, that's fine.
All right. Okay. Let me. I just got to figure it out again. There we are. All right. Share screen.
Now you're over in the UK.
No, I'm in Peru.
Oh, okay. You're in Peru, and it's just indicative for them to do the date and then month and then year, and their date format.
Yeah, it's different to the US.
Okay, so the only issue I can see with this, if you were to pipe this off to Google Calendar or something, he's going to error out on that because he won't recognize that as a date. You got to switch it out into a westernized format.
It is westernized, but we say like the 25th of the 11th. You say the 11th, the 25. That is westernized, but
right. Well, you're asking him for the day and then the month and then the year. So
that's how it is. That's how it does. I think it's only England that doesn't, America that does it the other way around. But that's a good point. It would have to be indicative of their territory for sure.
Right. Well, if you give this to Google will just error out on this guy as a date because he'll say there's no 25th month. So So I can't do anything with this.
But I think you can. Well, it doesn't matter. I mean, this is just a custom field. It's a text field, so there's no date actually. It's just a text field because ManyChat's date doesn't kind of render very well. But my point is, if you go through that flow where it's book an appointment, I'm using custom fields.
Right.
Yeah. And then right at the end, there's a confirmation.
Right.
Yeah. It kind of spits out your name, your email, date, time, message. Yeah.
Right. Right.
I'm interested in sending that data to the client and obviously the user. So it's kind of like an email confirmation as well. So they get it in the messenger bot saying, hey, is this the information? You click to confirm. And then what will happen, that would trigger an email, one that goes to the client and one that goes to the dentist.
Yeah, that's pretty easy. And
that would just be through like a Gmail or SMTP, right, in Zapier?
Yeah, I would go with the Gmail. Definitely with the Gmail. You could use the SMPT, but the Gmail would be much easier.
Even if the client doesn't have Gmail, for example, say they're using Zoho or some other kind of.
Essentially, I would say that you're going to authenticate from your Gmail account, and you're going to be sending out the confirmation. Unless you want that would work fine to send it out to them. Maybe you want to send out the confirmation. Maybe you want to send out the confirmation to the user from the dentist's actual email address.
That's what I'm thinking.
And you could spoof that. You could just give the reply to as the dentist address. So it's going to come initially from you, and whenever they reply to, they'll be replying to your dentist's address.
Right. Okay.
But you could also use the SMPT. You could use that.
Okay, mate. Thank you.
No problem.
Hey, John. Greg here.
Hey, Greg.
Is there any way to integrate a wallet, a mobile wallet, into the ManyChat? So I've got a client with 135 locations, and what they want to do, they've been using a text program to where they actually get it's basically an electronic gift card, and that gift card, when they click on that link, it uploads automatically into I guess the wallet that's already on every iPhone. I don't know if it's iWallet or whatever Apple calls it, but it preloads it in later, like all your stored credit cards. This one stores it as an electronic gift card. You know anything in Zapier that would allow to do something like that? Or I'm just clueless on how we would take it from there, from what they're currently doing as a text program, which is actually SMS deal through a company called Slick Text.
Well, essentially it sounds like Slick Text is just it doesn't sound like the link that is pre-populating the wallet is coming from Slick Text. It sounds like that link is coming from somewhere else, and they're using Slick Text just to deliver the physical link. Would that be a correct assumption?
I'll have to find out. It makes more sense if that's what they're doing. So they're not creating the actual card
through Slick Text. They're just using just using the text. They're just using Slick Text as their delivery mechanism to deliver out that link. So I would say you could just deliver that same link out through ManyChat, and boom, user clicks it, and same thing happens. It loads everything up into their wallet. Good to go.
Okay, perfect. You're probably right on that. I got to look and see if they're the ones doing that.
Yeah.
The way that my guy described it is they supply Slick Text with a bunch of gift card numbers, electronic gift card numbers, and then it's created and sent out. So that actually, when they pull it up on their phone, it actually has a barcode that's scanned by the restaurant, which is what they really like. rather than doing my workaround, which is what I did with the, kind of just using Zapier to give them that electronic gift card number. But they don't want to have to manually enter it. They want to be able to do that barcode. There's no way to do a barcode on through ManyChats, is there? Like through Google Sheets,
Um,
You know what I'm talking about? That makes sense?
Like the QR code.
Yeah, something
Yeah.
like that, but it's a barcode that can be read by the POS system. So it's a 2D barcode that they can read. So if you convert the electronic gift card number into a barcode, it basically reverses it back when they scan that barcode into the POS system. From my understanding, that's how it works.
So what's delivered as a barcode? Just the gift card number is delivered as a barcode?
Right. So what I did for them in my demo to them is like, listen, I can still deliver your electronic gift card, but it's a 16-digit number. And they're like, their cashiers don't want to enter that, have the customer hold up the phone, and then they've got to, read off the whole gift card number, which they can do. But right now they've gotten it's so much easier just to show the barcode on the phone, and they hit it with the hand scanner, and it takes off whatever that value is set. So they're supplying me with the electronic gift card number with the value already set. So I don't have to worry about that. I just have to worry about giving that to the customer in a way that they can, put it into a barcode format.
Yeah,
So
the only issue that I can see that's going to be there is right now through ManyChat, through ManyChat, we don't have any way to get an image back from Zapier inside of ManyChat. There's no way to send an image back. We can only send a link. There's no physical way that we can actually send any type of image back.
Gotcha.
Can I just jump in there? Sorry.
Yeah.
You could, if you can generate the image URL, and you can just send that as a message, and then just say, hey, just click on this, and when you click on that on a mobile, it will just load the barcode as an image.
That you could do, but I would say that they're also not going to like that, because what they're really liking about Slick Text, it seems, is Slick Text is physically going to deliver just the image, no link, no nothing, just a physical. They're going to send out an MMS and deliver just the actual image, which makes it really, really easy on the user. They just show the phone. They don't have to do any interaction whatsoever.
Right. Now, they love the idea of being able to target the Facebook and everything else that I presented with ManyChat, but it's just, when it comes to cashiers, you got to make it really, really simple. Beyond simple, stupid. It's got to be just, boom, show and go. So it's and obviously competing with something that they're already doing. Granted, they're paying more money for it, but it works. So I just didn't like you said, it's being able to pass that image back in the ManyChat to it. That's a unique image for each one. And I don't know if you could do that in a Google spreadsheet. You don't have the ability to do that pass of an image, which would be great. But like you said, I don't. It's trying to find a third party to be able to. Well, even then, like you said, even with what Steve said, doing the click the link to where it's actually the link that converts into the image and all that is a workaround. It's just, like you said, John said, it's not, it's another step, which if you can do away with any steps when you're dealing with the consumer and the cashier, it's a much easier way to just have one thing.
Agreed.
So it looks like these guys right here, Bite Scout. So it looks like these guys will allow us to generate barcodes. So, and they give us a little tutorial here where we can use a Zapier webhook to post data to these guys' API, and then get a response back from them with something like Steve was saying, an image URL that represents the actual barcode that they could click and then get the actual image of the barcode. So that would be one workaround. But your issue there is going to be, for now, your issue there is going to be the fact that you have to give this URL. Now, in the future, sometime soon, these guys at ManyChat are going to allow us to define the images and define the URL of an image through Zapier. They're going to have to do that, because if they don't, then somebody else is going to do it, and people are going to start moving from one place to another. Because once you have your flow built and everything, once it's all visually in front of you, if another builder gives you the same type of visual builder, then it's not going to take much to go in and copy and paste a flow from one place to another place. And with a little bit of time and finesse, you can go in and populate. Like with a little bit of time and finesse, we could literally have a ManyChat to Chat Fuel integration, and then just run a broadcast that's nothing but an action that triggers out an action to Zapier for all our users that would push all their data to Zapier and then push it down into Chat Fuel or something like that. So they will do that. I'm assuming that they'll definitely allow us to be able to push images back and send out custom images on the fly. And at that point, this solution would work really well. Something like this, we could use these Bite Scout guys. I'm sure if we kept going in, I'm sure if we kept going in and reading different other things here, or even, I mean, if we use webhooks by Zapier, we could use any barcode generator that we wanted to, and go in and post the data to those guys and get the URL response back of the actual image file that we could then send back to the user in ManyChat with right now a URL of the image. And hopefully in the future, we could have some card and the image there. We could have the image load from a custom field, and then we could push that custom field down from Zapier to the user, and then just push out that piece of content, and that content, the image in that content would reference the URL in that custom field. And then bada bing, bada boom, now we've just pushed out that custom barcode out to them. So until then we'd have to do something like this where we would do something like this and we would push this out to them.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, hopefully they'll do it soon enough here. I don't see them switching over, where there's an extra step with what they're already doing. Not especially when you're talking about rolling out to 125 stores.
Right.
But they really like the whole the bot experience of being able to learn about their customers so they can tailor the offers, down the road. Where right now the slick text thing is just, it's just a broadcast type thing. They broadcast it, it's a discount, and people buy it, and then there you go. So, all right, well, I appreciate it.
No problem. You too.
I have a question, John.
Yeah, what's that?
Greg's just sort of sparked an idea, a reminder about this integrating with Google Wallet or iOS Wallet, as well as it's basically the model would be for a restaurant to reserve tables and pay for bookings. I've tried to find something on Zapier, like I think it's called Open Table, something like that. But the hard part there is there was maybe Airto. I don't know now. I was having trouble finding a solution that would, because the hardest part, how can I say this, is, say here in Peru, a lot of the companies are kind of a little bit technophobic. So they don't, like, oh, well, how can I use a system that I already know processing reservations. Now, the system that they do know is spreadsheets. So I think it'd be an easier sell. So is there a way to kind of customize a spreadsheet that can take bookings and just record a booking that maybe the admin can go in and then they can cross-check with their, every day they can go and cross-check with their actual bookings and do the confirmations manually?
Yeah, I mean, that would be an easy thing to push some data to a spreadsheet and then basically have
So
some
making it look nice, or making it look a little bit more presentable than a spreadsheet. Is that possible?
Well, that I don't know. I don't know if you could really make a spreadsheet not look so much like a spreadsheet. So, I mean, essentially, it's always going to look like a spreadsheet, but you can make it pretty easy where they could just go in and see the date that they want to have, the date that they want to book it for, and the amount of people that they want to book it for, the time that they want to book it for, and then have them go in and cross-check to see if it's actually available or not. Something like that. It's totally would be.
I suppose you could do that via email, couldn't you? An email trigger that the restaurant would receive an email with the booking details. They cross-reference it, and then they say they go ahead and confirm it. Is there any way to send a trigger to request payment?
Yeah, totally.
Can you show me? If there's time.
Yeah. So let's just go in and say, all right, so let's go in and say, what do we want to do here? All right, so let's come in here.
Just say it's $20 to reserve a table.
Okay. So
just for the shits and giggles.
So let's create a new piece of content called table reservation. Let's create a new piece of content called table reservation payment.
Okay.
So let's come back here to some table reservation. And let's go in and say here, so let's just go in and tell this guy he can do that. We're going to ask him for let's book it on Christmas. So let's just put that in booking date. Let's put that in booking date. That should be enough information, right, for now?
Yeah, perfect, perfect. Okay.
So we're just going to get that data from those guys, and then we're just going to come into Zapier, and we're going to fire this off on a new Zap whenever we get a new Zap for that demo bot.
Mm-hmm.
On whatever that guy was, book a table. So now let's come in here to this guy right here. Make our spreadsheet. Use this guy. So here, let's see, what do we want here? We want to go in and figure out we're going to have what data we're going to have here. We're going to have a date.
Right.
We're going to have a booking date. We're going to have a time. We're going to have a party size. Then we're going to have, let's say, a status. And then
What's the status for, John?
the status is going to be our trigger that's going to push back. The status is going to be our trigger that's going to push back to ManyChat a payment link once we confirm it. So it's going to be a status of new, and then they can go in and update it to a status of confirmed. And if it's confirmed, we can go in and actually so we'll actually, the status is going to be for a pushback piece of content. All right.
Right. Okay.
So we're going to put this, we're going to put whatever's in here in a custom field, and we're going to train our guy to put in not available or confirmed. So he'll put in confirmed or not available. And so there'll be a status of new, confirmed, or not available. And then in our Zap, we'll have a logical condition. We'll basically, when this is updated, what we'll do when this is updated is we'll send this status back as a custom field. We'll store it in a custom field for the user, and then we will push them out a piece of content, and that content will basically just have a conditional clause that says, if not available, send message to this dude that it wasn't available, ask him if he wants to try to book another date. If it was available, then push him out a payment link and say, hey, you need to pay for this.
Right, mate. Sounds good.
And then we'll have the MC ID because we need that. So now we got those fields. So let's refresh these fields. So this guy was booking date. That guy was booking date. This guy is dinner reservation time. This guy's reservation party size. Status is going to be new. The MC ID is obviously going to be the ManyChat ID. So that guy's done. So now let's make another zap. And this zap is basically going to be sheets. And then we need to come over here real quick. And we need to come over here to our settings. Create a custom field. Create a new custom field. Call that book table status. Create that guy. Continue. This wants to be mini chat. This wants to be set custom field. That's going to be that guy. And the value that we're going to do is going to be status. We're going to pop him down there. And then now we want to create a piece of content. We got that guy right there. We want to have a condition as the first thing that happens. Will be our condition. So we're going to look at book table status. So if this guy is confirmed, if that guy is confirmed there, he's confirmed, then we're going to put him into another condition. We're just going to call that rejected. So let's come over here. Let's create a product invoice. This is going to be table booking payment. This is going to be $10, 0. Grab that invoice there. Come back over to this guy right here. So I think we should be good there, right? We're going to go in and check this. That should be good. So now we want to come back over here to Zapier, create and continue, add a step, mini chat, and we want to send content to user. Pick that demo bot. And then user is going to be some other value. He could be that guy from step 2, really, for all I care, but he'll just be that guy. Content is going to be that new content that we just created right there. So if I'm not mistaken, I think we should be done now, if I'm not mistaken. So if I'm not mistaken, I think we should be done. And I just need to make sure that we go in and we're going to use confirmed or rejected. So come back here. All right. Preview that guy. Preview that guy. Where's demo bot? All right. There's that. There's that piece of data right there. So let's say, for example, we want to confirm this. So now we want to confirm this. So now let's just go in and see this Zap in our dashboard. That guy right there. Run that guy. So let's push this flow out one more time because there is an issue with that. Okay, so now there's that guy. Not really understanding why he didn't actually push that out, though. See, he didn't actually fire on that at all, so. What the crap? See, now he's got the payment link. So now he's got everything. So
Okay, John. Cheers. Thank you.
So you saw how that worked, right? Whenever this guy, let's say now we can just say he's rejected. Now if this guy gets rejected, then this guy will get automatically every 5 minutes, this thing's going to run, but we're just going to manually force him to run. So now this guy is going to say, hey, I'm sorry, we weren't able to book your table, and he's going to go into that flow. If this guy would have said confirmed,
Yeah, pretty cool. But I suppose you're really dependent on the user input that they're going to put the right kind of format in, or not put any rubbish in there. Is there any way to kind of to check against that? Like I know we prompt them, which correct date format to use, but maybe they might just put 5 December. Some people don't read, do they? And that might mess up some of the automations, or not, because it's just text.
No, not really, because there's no automation here, right? I mean, here we're just literally giving them this date, this time, this party size, and all we're doing is piping data here. We're just dropping data off, and we're just listening to this status right here. And that's what our restaurant guy would do. He would just go in and look at this data, right? He would just look at this and be like, yeah, I can do this. I know I can do this. So he'll confirm this. No, I can't do this. So I'll reject this. So even if they were to give December 2nd, then that would be fine, because our guy could go in and see this is for December 2nd. So
Cool. Do you know anything about anything? Because what would be really cool is to have some sort of drop down inside ManyChat, where you can pre-populate some options. Have you heard any rumblings about something like that?
Well, we don't have any drop down, but we do have these multi-choice questions where we can give. So we do have these guys where we can have a multiple choice question, and then we can give our different answers here. Answer A, B. So we've got those options where we can pre-populate choices like that.
And what would you do with that? Someone clicked on B. Did you send them a message depending on what they clicked on? Is that how it works?
Well, at this point, whatever they answer, this is a user input, so we're going to store it in a custom field. So if you want to send them an answer based on A or B, then you need to have a conditional block that looks to check to see what is the value contained inside this custom field.
Got it. Yeah. Wow. Pretty cool shit.
Not as robust as we would like, but not as robust as we could like, but I mean, we could have easily piped this off into this spreadsheet, and we could have piped it off necessarily maybe into a Google Calendar. So we could have hacked into this right here. We could have hacked into this guy right here, maybe, and then had this, if this guy was confirmed, right? So we could have went in here, and then at the end here, we could add a filter saying only continue if this guy's status was confirmed, and if it was confirmed, then pipe it into a a Google Calendar, or we could go in and have a thing here that would be payment, right? And then we could have a filter that says, okay, if this guy is confirmed, and then after that, only continue if this guy's status is paid. And if those two things are true, then push this into my bookings calendar to show that, and add that table booking to my calendar. And then I can just go in all the time. And whenever I'm looking at this, I could have this in my Google Calendar open, and I see these new fields coming in. And then I could just go in and look and see on my calendar, do I have anything open that day? Nope, it's rejected. Do I have something open that day? Yep, I'm going to confirm it. And then once this guy actually goes in and pays that invoice, we could update this field that he's paid. And once that's been paid, I could go in and I could go in and push that out to my calendar. We'll just have to teach these guys to do maintenance, because we wouldn't even have to teach them to do maintenance. We could do it on we could do the cleanup on our own on the back end, because we want to delete any row that we want to delete this row, so that that guy could go in and do it again, because if not, we're going to get confused probably on this mini chat ID, I would say.
Yeah, that's a good point. Okay, mate. Thanks for your time, John. Appreciate it.
No problem. So what else, guys?
Well, I think what we're doing is fantastic. And perhaps if nobody else has any other questions or personal help they need with their individual bots, was there a flow that you have not fully mind mapped out that we could work on together so that I can watch your process? Or would you like to do something different?
I mean, I could go in and update. I could go in and update one of these flows that I need to update that has all these videos here with the videos that I created earlier today. So I could go and update this guy, because I got somewhere on my YouTube channel, I added a couple new videos in today, and I need to go in and actually put those contents out there.
Hey, John. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. How you doing, Dennis?
Pretty good. I just got back in. I figured I'd just jump right on Zoom that you'd be on, because you're on there 24 hours a day right now.
Not 24 hours a day. So I still run a company in my daytime. So
Close enough.
So we done some cool stuff today, though, Dennis. We've done a couple cool things today.
I have a flow chart to share with you if you want to take a look at that. If you're not going through another question right now.
No, we're not. I'm just actually going in and updating
Okay.
this guy right here. So yeah, go ahead and share
Let
it.
me grab that link. Hold on one second. Where is that link? Okay, so I'm trying to put together something pretty brief just to kind of get an idea as to whether I was on the right track or not in terms of what or how to structure a flow. So the link is in chat. Okay, so the bottom little piece is just the legend that explains what the colors and the little icon means. So anything that's green is a reusable module, like you've been telling us to do. And the little triangle with exclamation mark is just simply meant to be that it's some kind of a zap or an event that has to get triggered to go out.
This you can't do, by the way.
Okay, so let's go through it, and then you can tell me what parts need to be maybe modified as far as the thinking. So from the fan page, it could be simple as where someone says, hey, can you give me a call now? So their question would be, the bot would ask basically, okay, great, what's your phone number? And then when's a good time to call you? And the options there would be, should I call you now or another time? All right. If they say call me now, then there needs to be some kind of a mechanism that will allow the person to just click on something, I would assume, that would then trigger a call. I was thinking actually of your program, John. You have a program that lets, that actually will call directly from some kind of a trigger. Is that correct?
Yep, this guy will.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I was thinking of, because that would be a good integration for something like this, right?
Yep.
What I'm also trying to think of, John, are use cases for your software. Because what I've found is that in the training so far, the few times that you have mentioned the software that you have, it sometimes didn't quite jive with the bot that might have been being built. So I was trying to find ways where it could actually have a use case built into it. So like this would be one, where the call a client could be built right into the bot sequence, right? Then the other option was like, no, don't call me now. So let's set up an appointment. So I'm not sure what the appointment process would be that's permissible within the ManyChat structure. So you're saying there that can't be done, but I'm assuming an appointment could be scheduled some other way.
Well, what I'm saying can't be done is this connection right here. You cannot take somebody from this generic flow and this ends here. You can't carry them over. So you need to take this guy and move
put him to the other side. Okay,
move
that's
him
fine.
here.
So in other words, we could ask the date and the time first, correct?
Correct.
And then trigger the add to calendar module. Is that right?
Correct.
Okay, all right, that's fine. The next piece down, let's assume the bot asks, you have four options basically. So the client can pick, give me a call now, I have a customer service question, what are your locations or what are your hours? So let's assume now they pick the second option, which they have a customer question. They would have maybe 2 or 3 topics to pick from, and the other would be other. And you've shown us this one before, where if there's something that the bot doesn't understand, then the admin gets notified that there was an unanswered question that they have to address personally, correct?
Right.
And that will be a generic module, so that'd be fine. That third option was, no, I want to know what your locations are because I'm looking for something close to me. In which case, then there has to be some kind of a trigger for this. So from what you're describing, the module piece just gets pushed further down that stream. So we would first ask for the zip code, ask for the city, and then it would probably need to go out and do something as far as look up either a Google Sheet or some other kind of indexed list of locations that it can pinpoint based on either zip code, city, and maybe some other variable. Right, but
right.
What I'm looking at there is like once it has found it, to be able to publish back via the bot the list of locations found, along with the address, phone number, hours, and possibly a link to a Google map, so that the person can quickly go and like any of the most websites, right?
Right.
You're looking for location, give you some basic details. You see the one you like best, you click on it, and off you go. Whether either making a phone call directly or looking up the map. Right? And that fourth option from the base menu was simply, what are your hours? And then it would ask pretty much the same question. Well, the hours are based on which location, right? So it would just follow the same flow as above, because it's going to give you the location as part of that step 3, I think it was, where it showed you the address, the phone number, the hours, and the map link. So that would be answering the same question. So that was like the basic flow. So in terms of now how to set up these modules and how to set up those Zap components, understanding that I have to move the modules further downstream, that's sort of like maybe a use case where I was thinking of where we could put something together that might quickly resemble a similar flow.
Cool.
Right. So I would say what we would need to do here, I don't know what happened to my little, what I would say is all of this guy right here is inside of this guy, right?
No, not necessarily, because the what's your zip code, what's your city, you said you have to ask that prior to the module triggering, right?
Well, I would say that this location module, we could just fire off this location module.
Okay.
And inside this location
Yeah.
module, we would
Oh,
ask these questions.
Yeah, actually, John, I'm sorry. That's what the graphic meant to indicate, that the
Okay.
location module would have the things that follow it to the right of it.
Okay.
Okay, so they're included in there. That's why the next level down, which is what are your hours, I didn't bother repeating the entire flow because I'm just saying go use the location module, which included all those steps to the right that you circled.
Right. The only thing is, this seems a little redundant to have this, because whenever they ask where are these hours, we're going to give them back this entire.
Right. Yeah, exactly. I think it's more from a user scenario. The user may be thinking, I only want to know your hours.
Right. We'll just give them all the data back anyways.
Exactly. So whether it's hours or location, we'll give them the same thing regardless. But in their minds, they're asking two different questions possibly.
Right. So this is easy. This whole flow right here is pretty easy. No big deal there.
Yep, you've done that before several times, right?
This whole flow here is pretty easy as well. This whole flows pretty easy as well. This module location is a little bit more complex because we gotta figure out how we're actually going to take all this data and then use this data to actually perform a lookup that will bring back multiple items.
Yeah, I think actually zip code is tough because just because you live in one certain zip code, it doesn't mean you couldn't travel to the neighboring zip code, which is only 2 miles away, right? So zip code may not be as useful perhaps as city. It's a little bit broader.
Yeah, well, we only really need one of the two, right?
Yeah,
if
I would choose city.
I know your city.
Yeah, I would choose city because that's broader, and that becomes a simpler lookup.
I would probably choose zip code because city is if I get your city, I have to also get your state, right?
Yes.
I got to get that. With zip code, I don't have to. With zip code, if I'm holding your zip code, I'm already holding your city and state. I'm already holding that because it's a piece of data that I can find from knowing your zip code. If I know your zip code, I know what your city and state is. If I'm just getting your city, then I need to ask you for what state that city is in.
But wouldn't the table be that much more extensive? Because then I'd have to have all the zip codes in the table and know what cities they match up to, as opposed to simply a table of cities. It's still extensive, but I think there are less cities than zip codes.
Yeah, so I would definitely say that there's less cities. There's going to be less cities and zip codes because a city could have multiple.
That's right.
Multiple zip codes.
Yeah.
So
the other thing I'm not sure of, John, is if cities are necessarily unique. Are there instances where a city name may appear in multiple states?
Yeah, Columbus, Indiana, Columbus, Ohio.
Right, exactly. So maybe the city doesn't really quite. Maybe zip code is better.
Yeah, that's why I said if we can't just ask a city. If we ask a city, we must get a state as well if we're asking a city.
Right. But even then, a combination might be a lot less than just all the zip codes. Right, because there are only 50-something states, so it's not like that's a huge number, and that combination isn't that large. It's a vertical lookup in the table. It's a V lookup, right, in a Google Sheet. Right, and I'm not sure how many zip codes there are.
Right now it says that there's these many incorporated places, which they're calling cities, so a bunch. So 20,000. 20,000 is still pretty hefty.
Yeah, that's pretty hefty.
Pretty hefty data set to go in and look through.
You probably need to go almost with a SQL at that point.
Mm. So outside of this module, everything else is pretty gravy. Outside of this module right here, this module is going to take a little bit of engineering to think of exactly how we want to go in and build this out. So, so in my perspective, I've got one of the new girls that I hired like 3 weeks ago. I got her going in, and actually I'm going to have her build some really easy clonable application where we can build data tables, and we have like an easy to use interface API through those data tables so that we can easily go in and begin to do something like this, and then return back a whole query that we can then format somehow and pass back to Zapier, because right now this is just not gonna be so complex to go in and do this if we want to get multiple items back.
Right. Yeah. Again, using just the standard sheets, that would be problematic. An SQL database, that's pretty easy on that side. I mean, that's what they're meant to do, is handle massive amounts of data.
Right. But
you
even
do a query and you pull it up.
Right. But even with Zapier, we're only going to get, if we use the Zapier MySQL integration, we're only going to get one row of data back. They're only going to give us one row of data back. They won't allow us to get multiple rows of data back.
Right, in which case it's almost like you'd have to combine the fields. So let's assume it's city-state, right? Mm-hmm. So they pick a state, they put a city, and that creates a unique combination so that those become just one index that they look up.
Right, but so now you're saying that one index that we look up, this is going to be a harder thing to do, because now they're going to most likely be multiple locations for that one single city-state index, right? There's multiple locations, and then those locations are all going to have these different pieces of data with them. So multiple pieces of data there. But it seems like if we really focus in on our clientele who we're trying to sell this to, we could find a workaround, right? If we're trying to sell this to Walmart, well, fuck it. They can. I mean, those guys can spend $500,000 on a bot.
Yeah,
we just build them a custom bot to do this for them easy. If we're targeting somebody that has more than 3-4 locations, those guys got the dough to pay us to build a custom bot. And if not, then we could literally just go in if they're let's say 5 locations or less.
Just list them all. Yeah,
list their locations.
That's right.
Here's the locations that I have, and that's pretty.
Yeah. I mean, I was looking at 2 scenarios, John. One, like you're saying, even if it's a small chain or a mini franchise, they only have a handful of locations. That's not a big deal. But I was just browsing around today, looking at potential kinds of clients, and on the higher end, there are these large chains where when I went to their fan page, it asked similar questions. But what they really did was they pushed you out to their website. So they actually exited Messenger. They didn't even open up a new tab. They just replaced the Messenger tab with their website. So they took you out of the conversation altogether and just dumped you on their website, which did answer the question, but you had no way to continue the dialogue because you were out of Messenger, right? So I'm thinking for a situation like that, where there is, like you're saying, a large chain. These guys have a couple of hundred, facilities around the States. Someone like that, they would have the money for this, and they already invested the money in putting together their database online, which is searchable, and you put in the fields and pull up the data, but they're just dumping you out to the website. So I think we bring that into a Messenger scenario, that could be more attractive, because obviously the dialogue could continue, right? As opposed to abruptly throwing them out to the website.
Well, don't forget that we got this in our back pocket, all right? So we got this in our back pocket that's not ready for us yet, but we got this in our back pocket, this customer chat right here in our back pocket. So now, once this guy's in beta right now, we wait another 2 months, another 30 days, another 30 to 90 days, and they fully release this, then who cares? Let's dump them out to a website, because when they get to the website, I'm going to have this customer chat embedded right on the website. So I'll dump you right out to the website. I'll continue that customer chat right inside the website, because I got the customer chat widget embedded right inside the website, which is literally just a messenger bot.
Now that embedded customer chat widget on the website, once I send you there, would they have to click on it to bring up the messaging, or the messaging automatically display as a continuation of our existing dialogue?
I'm not sure how they're going to route that. I'm going to assume that they're going to have something just like the opt-in box where you have to, click and say, yeah, opt in, but then that would probably just continue out the current flow that you have. I would most likely assume that they're going to, I would assume that if they're going to have this messenger widget on the website, they're going to be prepared that we've got people on Facebook in a messenger situation having an open dialogue with this that I'm going to send out to my website, and I want to continue that same dialogue with them while they're on my website. I'm assuming that Facebook's engineers are smart enough to see that and provide something for us to do that. So I would say probably, yeah. I would say they're probably even going to make it where that thing's just going to pop up automatically and whatever.
Yeah, that would make more sense, right? That would make more sense because then there is continuity. Right.
Yeah.
Okay, so then maybe this idea needs to be shelved for a bit until that gets fleshed out. But this approach, John, of mapping it out this way, is this a more expedient way of doing it as opposed to trying to flow it out directly within ManyChat? Because they do have the flow builder. So is this redundant work?
Not necessarily. No, not necessarily. It depends on what you're wanting to do. Now, are you going to go in and build this all out on your own? Well, if you're going to build this all out on your own, then maybe, because you could have kind of mapped the same thing out generically inside ManyChat with their flow builder. If you're gonna hand this off to somebody else, then
then you have to produce it externally.
Then this is great. If you're gonna pre-approve this with the client, then this is great. If you want to get a high value for your build, then hell yeah, do this to every flow that you do, because now once I hand you that bot and hand over your bot, I can hand you over a stack of documentation and I can give you a value. Here's an extra, $500, $1,000. Why can I make all this documentation for you? And now you see the value in that. So yeah, I would say, yeah, whenever we do software projects, we do all internal documentation. We document everything, do API documentations, create the SRSs, fully document everything. Now, does every client get that? No, I don't give that to every client, because just because I create it, right? It doesn't mean I'm going to give it to you. I'll give it to you if you want to pay for it. If you want to pay for that fully documented thing, then yeah, I'll give it to you. Now, I have to have it regardless, so I'm going to create it regardless. But if you're going to get it, then I'm going to show it to you and I'm going to itemize and say, hey, this thing took me 20 hours. So guess what? That cost you $1,000. So you're going to pay for it. You don't want to pay for it? Fine. Then I'm not going to give it to you. Well, I'll give it to you if you're not going to pay for it. So this is just going to create more value in the product that you're selling. And it's going to make you, it's going to set you apart from everybody else. Because trust me, most of the bot builders, I guarantee you, they're not going to create.
Yeah, they're not going to do this.
And they're not going to present them to a client. And that's these guys are going to now be like, hey, this guy is a professional, right? Before he's done anything, he's obviously planned stuff out. So I would say, yeah, it's definitely not a waste of time. It's a really good thing to do. Now you give this to my engineer and he's off to the races and he knows exactly.
That's right. That's right. Yep. Now, I just did this with a really simple mind mapping tool. So I found it the one to be the quickest to quickly add modules and branch them out. But obviously it has its own limitations. Is there another tool that you recommend that does a better job? For something really simple, this was fine. But, as branches get more complex and such, is there something else you recommend as a tool?
For the most part, not really, because our documentation that we do whenever we have real dialogues like this are ERD dialogues. So, and those ERD dialogues, I don't think that you'd want. We build them directly. We build them directly from the database tool itself. We have that out the ERDs. So,
right. Okay.
But this is good for the most part. Yeah, this is good. This guy right here, I would say, like I said, this guy right here, we could probably just go in and replace this guy with put pipe in the physical locations. This dude's got just only 3 locations or
Yeah, of course.
10 locations. If he's got 10 locations, I mean, and we just think about it. The dude's got 10 locations. How long is it going to take us to engineer this solution versus just going in and statically putting in his 10 locations? So
Yeah.
put in this 10.
Well, again, that module is really more intended for someone who, again, is a larger franchise where they have 100 locations around the U.S., you know?
Right.
So they would need something more like this because that's what their current website already has. So when you put in your zip code, it brings up the whole map of the U.S. and you have dots all over the place.
And I would want to get rid of this already, right? I would want to get rid of this. Really, I would really just want to get rid of that just because of the fact that I know that I can come in here to this condition. Actually, he won't give me that, will he? He'll give me his locale, but he won't give me, he's going to do that only by.
Oh, I see.
He won't give me that. These guys won't give me their physical.
That would save all the questioning.
Yeah, I mean, if they would just give me their physical location, then bam,
Right.
done. But they won't give me that, so we gotta have those for now.
Okay. All right. I just want to make sure that at least the basic thinking in terms of how to map something out along these lines was sort of in place.
Yeah, no, this is great. I'd recommend doing this for I mean, even just this, you go in and even just a couple of these, right? A couple of these in a pretty simple demo bot, this will sell a client, right? A client can look at this and they can understand this. They even if they know nothing about bots, they can understand this. And then if you go in and after you show them this, you walk them through the demo, they're sold for the most part. If they got a budget, they're sold.
With something like this, see, if they don't know about demo bots, this is impressive from an architectural engineering side. If they do know, if they're at least familiar with ManyChat and they've heard that it's easy, when they look at this, they're like, never mind. It might be easy, but I don't want to go do all this. You just go do it.
Right.
So it helps either way.
Yeah, of course. Even if somebody can do what you can do, then you want to get that client. Then you just price yourself lower than what they value their time, and then you should be good.
Yeah.
These business owners, man, trust me, they don't want to be doing this stuff. They want to be playing golf and spending money.
Yep. Well, that's true with any profession, right?
Yeah, sure. Even I don't want to be doing this stuff. That's why I got a bunch of people that work for me and do it for me, because I don't want to be doing this stuff. I want to be not playing golf, but.
All right. Well, thanks, John. I don't want to take up the floor too long.
Yeah, sure. Well, I mean, if you want to, be my guest, because I don't know if anybody else wants to talk or not. So if anybody else wants to talk, then then let's do it. But this part's still in the making, by the way. So this part's all built and set for the final Zapier integration. And
okay.
I got somebody that just actually started building the Zapier integration. So it all works. It all works in here. Like you could come in here. On any of these.
What I'd like to do, John, is actually build some demos that incorporate your software, so that as people start seeing what it does, they'll realize what value it can deliver. You know what I'm saying? People don't buy software; they buy a solution, right?
Right.
So no matter how cool the actual system is, they don't really care, and they won't even understand it. They just want to know what it's going to do for them. So I like what you showed and how you explained what your tool does. And what I want to do is start building some samples where it'll actually be incorporated and they can see in real terms what that flow would do for their business.
That would be great. I mean, if you do communications, if you do typical communications through a telephone, then this software will really help you in that. I mean,
right.
You've got some guys, I mean, let's say you're a car dealer, right? And you got some sales agents. One, you fire that dude. He's going to take all his leads with him if those leads are on his cell phone. So play the man in the middle, encapsulate all that data, have all the leads calling your phone number and then routing those guys out to them so that he doesn't even know their phone number, right? For the most part, he's just getting calls from your phone number, still connecting with them. And now you can go back in and look and run some QA on them. I mean, let's say if you're if you're that real estate agent, or you're that broker, or you're the guy that owns a new car dealership, you're the Mercedes guy, and you got some sales guy that's screwing off. That guy screws off. That guy cost you $90,000 to $200,000 sale.
Right.
That's a big ticket. So you want to have some oversight on him, so you can go in, and even if he's not screwing off, let's say he just doesn't have great sales tactics, right? Go in and, I mean, isn't it worth the time to go in and have somebody that is good at sales that can go in and listen to these sales calls that people are happening on high ticket items? You're selling a $40,000 item. Go in and listen to that guy and find out why he has such a low conversion ratio, and train him, because if you don't do that, you are going to keep losing money.
Right. Oh yeah, that's right.
Did you see what Colin put in?
Yep. Yeah, I looked at it earlier. I looked at a bunch, actually. I did a little bit of searching around, found about 10 different tools, and I tried 4 of them out today really quickly. I'd used one in the past called FreeMind. It's very simple. It's totally free. There's no cost whatsoever. And I knew what its limitations were, but I wanted to try something else. So I went and looked at BotMock and a bunch of others. I just found them a little clunky at times, and you couldn't do anything on the free side that wasn't private. They were all public, so whatever you're putting together, you just have to keep in mind that anyone else who has access to their platform will see what you're doing, so you just have to be very generic about how you're building something out. So I just have to give it more of a chance, I guess, but I gave it like 2-3 minutes. I wasn't too patient with it, and I wasn't able to do something quick. So I just went right back to the flow diagram, and that took me no more than like 5-6 minutes to put that together. So for the short term, I think what I did was probably what I'll end up using going forward. But for something that looks really professional, I like what BotMock shows, at least on its demos. I don't know yet what it's like to truly build something out with that. And that's what I was asking you. If I'm going to go and spend all that time building it in BotMock, I might as well just flow chart it out inside of Flow Builder, do screenshots, and that can be the documentation for the client.
But I think that this type of documentation is much better. I think that this type of documentation is much better because one, you said you spent some 10-15 minutes for this.
Not even. It's just keystrokes. You just put the insert key and it creates a new bubble. You press enter to create multiple bubbles at the same level. I mean, there's nothing to it. It's really, really simple. I didn't want to have to mess around with the mouse either and clicking and dragging and looking for the corners to stretch something. This is just all done with straight keyboard, shortcuts.
Right, and that's fine, and that adds some additional value. That adds some additional value to it. Adds some credibility to you as a builder, right? To you and your service.
Yeah.
It adds some additional value that you can get for the bot that you're going to create. But there's a limit to this value, right?
Right.
You go in and spend 15 hours creating documentation. Dude's not going to pay you for that shit.
No, they don't value it. It just sits on their shelf. It's impressive for 2 seconds, but they're not going to stare at it and they're not going to digest it.
Right.
They're
You can add it.
That was cool, and they push it aside. Go to the next thing.
You can add some additional. I could go into my clients and give their documentation, and I could get maybe $1,000 worth of fee for documentation. But if I try to hit this guy and say, hey, I spent 100 hours building your documentation, I need $10K or I need some $5,000, he's gonna laugh at me and he's gonna say, I'm not gonna pay you $5,000.
Yeah, like I never asked you for that kind of level of documentation.
Yeah, what am I gonna do with that? Yeah. So you want to provide it. You want to provide it to an extent to create a value that nobody else is giving and creating an aurora of professionalism, but you don't want to overdo it and spend a lot of time doing something because you're not going to actually recoup that on the back end. So something like this, you've got some 10 minutes involved in it. Can you get an extra hour out of this guy? Yeah, he'll pay you an extra hour.
Sure.
You spend some 2 hours and some other thing. Are you going to be able to get some extra 4 hours? No, probably not, because there's a limit to what they're going to want to pay for stuff like this.
Well, I think it's there's a point of diminishing returns, right?
Yeah, of course, sure, totally.
Yeah. I agree.
And this is simplistic for them. You know, you can go in, you spend 2 hours, you can document every single flow like this really, really easy. They've got some understanding of it. And now they could go in and actually look at this and make some modifications if they want to, and come back to you with some modifications and say, hey, can we change this, this, and this? And it creates a good value. But you spend too much time doing it, and then you're just wasting your own time there.
Yeah, no, I agree. Again, it just creates professionalism, but it's really eye candy. It's not what the client's buying, but it does raise your prestige, and along that, your billing ability, you know?
Right. I mean, the eye candy is great, because if you add, let's say you got 10 flows and you add 10 of these into your proposal, right? Here's my proposed flows. Well, now if you had to spend an hour for each one of these, and now you got some 12 hours invested in just writing your proposal to get the client, well, that's way too much. But you got 10 of these, it took you 10 minutes a piece, so you got maybe 1 hour in creating this documentation, plus an extra hour or 2 hours laying out, you know, the actual content of the proposal. You got 3 hours invested in the proposal. Trust me, this 10 minutes has the same value as the 1 hour to the client. It's going to wow them. It's going to give them the eye candy. It's going to get them to give you the job, and that's essentially what you're after. Nothing more. You want to give them enough to get the job, and these little things will create. That's why I said the other day, you want to go in, and in that proposal, you want to list every single thing that you're going to do that provides a value, so that you can whenever they see that bottom line and they say, hey, this is a 10K project or a 20K project, they can see, oh, I can understand why, because you've given me 10 pages worth of proposal versus giving, you know, a single page.
Yeah.
But this is good. Yeah, I like this.
All right, cool.
So what else, guys?
Oh, golly.
Well, what were you saying yesterday, John, as far as the ManyChat folks having it on their drawing board to have modules that can be outside of the bot? So that would be really helpful at some point.
Modules? What do you mean modules outside of the bot?
Because right now, for example, the modules that we build are generic ones, the reusable ones, right? They have to exist inside the bot, correct? You can't just call an external function. It has to be inside the bot itself. We were talking yesterday, if you recall, that if we build bot number 2 and we want to call that same function, we can't just call it. We actually have to go to the original bot, look up all the fields that we had defined, look up any external dependencies, and then essentially you can copy that module over to the new bot, but you'd have to rebuild that data structure as far as custom fields, zaps, etc. So right now there isn't a way to have your library of generic modules that can work across bots. They only work within the bot. Is that correct?
Right, and I don't know if they have any plans to do that. I know they have plans to go in and allow us to be more modular in the way, like you see one of these guys, I'm returning back the content to the user. They have plans to go in and make this more modular, where this content here, I can push down the data, like the image that should be in this content, or the URL that should be referenced in the button for this. They have plans to go in and make those more modular, so that I can have a generic content, but then I can set those. I can, you know, that content has a card with an image, a button with the URL. So they've got plans to go in and make it more modular, where whenever I push down that content, I can push down that image and I can push down that URL. So that same little card can be different for every single person. So that I know they have plans for, but the other, I'm not sure if they have plans for right now, but they should, because it would be really useful. It'd be really useful even if they had, even if they created their own generic functionalities that everybody could use. We just paid like an upcharge fee to be able to access a premium library of modules that they've already created.
Right. Yep, that would be a huge time saver. Yeah. Because sometimes it's not even the complexity, it's just little errors that we make. You know, that would cut down a lot on that.
But they got a lot to go. I mean, this whole messenger platform is still really, really new, and they got a long way. They got a long way to go right now, but they're doing a good job. They're doing really, really a good job.
Are they a funded company? Do you know? I mean, do they have investors, external investors?
Yeah,
or they're still bootstrapping this.
Yeah, they were seeded over $2 million.
Okay. That doesn't go as far as it used to.
It does for those guys. Those guys where they're situated. I think it's Lebanon, but those guys are.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they're
okay.
probably only pushing 15% higher cost than what I'm pushing over here. I'm in the cheapest place in the world to get an engineer. They're probably only 15-20% higher cost than what I'm at. So.
Oh, that's cool. Okay, well, that's good then. Then it does go a long way.
So for me, it's for me, I got 30 engineers on staff, and right now, my current cost to my actual operating cost is right around 25K, more or less. Not more or less, but less. So I'm just gonna inflate it up to 25K. So that's 25K a month. If somebody was to give me, what's that, 2 million? That
How many years is that?
That just funded my company for 6 years, almost 7 years. So sit on gravy, you know.
Yeah, that's true.
So yeah, they got a really decent. They got a really decent seed fund. And where is this? Let's just look at his last name. He says he lives in California, but
maybe his team's out in Lebanon.
I would say Russia, maybe, because it looks like this. I'm not sure if that is Russian, what language this actually is. I know I can't read this, whatever this is. I know I can't read this. So, and so if they're
Russia right there.
Yeah, if they're in Russia, I mean, if their main team is in Russia, then they're probably looking at 45% higher cost than me.
Yep.
They're definitely still maximum 65% cost of the U.S., but they're still going to have a significant cost. But that 2 mil probably seeded their team. I mean, they could probably have 10 developers, and that 2 mil probably seeded their team for 2.5-3 years.
Yep.
Plus, on top of that, now they're actually making revenue, right? I'd say they got some. I'd say in their group they got some 17,000 users in their group.
Sure.
And I would say from that they must have at least 20-30% that are paying that are pros. So they're racking in probably some 30,000-40,000 a month at least coming in from revenues from their software. So
you were mentioning the other day that from a sales perspective, when presenting to a client, that obviously the better idea is to have a custom demo built for that specific either type of customer or that customer. Mm-hmm. So I was thinking, like, just even from like keeping costs low initially, because I'm not sure what everyone's position is, but let's assume if you had one fan page that you're going to use for all your demos, right? So the image on the fan page could be somewhat generic, but within that page, you could have all the different, you could have essentially different, I guess you could have different demos built within that bot that could be triggered based on the keyword. So for example, if you're in the restaurant business and I take you to that page, I can probably walk you through that by having you kick off the restaurant demo with a keyword specific to that. The same if I take someone else from a different business to that same page and have them kick off the other unique demo based on a specific keyword. The advantage I'm thinking there is not only just the savings on a little bit of money, but also from a demo perspective, I wouldn't have to copy over all of those generic modules from demo to demo to demo. They could all be housed in one. Again, just for demo purposes, right? So in other words, I have my demo page, and depending who you are, I wouldn't even send to the raw demo page. I'd send you a link that triggers that specific path. So when you go in as the restaurant viewer, it would take you right into the path that I've set up for you. But it would be leveraging all of those generic modules that live inside of that demo bot.
And you could do it. I mean, you could do it that way. I just don't personally like that way. Because one, if I don't have the time, if I don't have the time and I'm low on cash and I don't have the time to go in and invest my time to sink my fish, then why do I want 5 different demo bots? I mean, if I don't have cash flow and I don't have I don't have all this time,
Go after one.
Yeah, I don't need to be going to some real estate dude one day and doing
that's true.
Restaurant dude another day in insurance, because I'll never perfect my sales pitch that way, right? I'll never get any confidence. I'll go to the restaurant day to day. He says no, that's going to demotivate me. So I'll go to the car dude tomorrow. He's going to say no. I never pitched him. And when it's all said and done, I'm going to spend 3 weeks and I never get my pitch motivated. I'm going to create one demo. That's going to be for the car dude. That's going to be for the restaurant. And I'm going to go to every single restaurant in town. And by the time I'm done with that, one of those dudes would have bought my service. And
you would improve the pitch all the way through as well as the demo.
And if none of those guys are buying my service, one of those guys is going to get my service for free. And then he is going to tell his buddies about it. Trust me on that. If no one's going to buy my stuff, someone's going to take it for free. I'm just going to say, look, they're not going to get it for free. They're going to get it for free right now. I'm going to say, you know what? Don't spend the money right now. I'll go in and build it. Here's the contract. Here's what it's going to cost. It's typically going to cost, let's say it's typically going to cost $3K. It's now going to cost you $4K because I'm going to upcharge it 30%, but you're not going to pay me until 3 months down the road. All right.
Yeah.
But you're going to have
you got at least a case study in the meantime.
Right. You're going to have the thing. You're going to be using it. I know some 3 months down the road, I'm going to get some income from you. And then I'm going to walk right into the next guy. And I'm going to be like, look, I just built this for this guy. And I can literally show a contract, a 4K contract, and say, hey, this guy's showing. And because what I'll do is I'll separate my contract with my payment terms, right? I'll take that contract with the signature. I'll show that to every other client in town. And I'll say, look, Joe Snow over here, you see he done signed a 4K contract, and I'm going to give you the same thing for 25K because I like you more. And so I'll just separate the price, the cost breakdown, and I'll have a payment and term sheet somewhere else. I'm not going to show other clients what terms and what schedule he's paying on, but I will show them that contract that's got his signature on it that says, hey, this is a 4K deal. And I can walk in hand with that. I can walk in hand with the fact that he's already actually using the bot. And then, hey, they're sold. Even if they don't want a bot, if they know the dude right down the road doesn't pay 4K for a bot, and that's his competitor, and I'm offering it to them for half price, they're gonna buy it. They're gonna be like, well, if he's using it, then he paid 4K for it, then and he's already using it, then I need this right now. So if I don't have clients in hand, if I don't have money in hand, which means I don't have time in hand, I'm not going to be trying to run all over the place and have a demo. It's a demo.
That's true. That's true.
I want to focus in and zero in on somebody, Now, once I get 3 or 4 of the same clients out there, then now I can focus in on the next guy, no problem, right?
If you were to build someone, let's assume someone were to build a bot for somebody for $2,000 up front, what the ongoing monthly, I know it's all subjective based on what they might end up really be doing or what is perceived that work might be, but is roughly like a 10% initial fee, roughly in the ballpark of what the ongoing monthly might be?
Yeah, I would say that could be so, but you have to go in obviously and look at how much overhead do I have involved with you? How often are you going to be? Some guys, you put them on a $200 a month retainer, they think that you work for them 40 hours a week now, and they can just call you whenever they want, and you're now their full-time employee. So So with that retainer, you got to give some terms, like how much will I actually do for this retainer? What's included for that? But I think something like that, 10%, 20% is reasonable. Get on the backside, you're going to pay, let's say right now you're going to pay $3K, and it's going to be a $200 a month retainer or $300 a month retainer. You got a problem with that? You got a problem with that 3K? No problem. I'll cut that down to 2K. But now your retainer is gonna go up by 35% per month, and you're just gonna be stuck paying that.
Yeah. Different question, John. Yesterday you mentioned something about a way to verify an email. So in the flow, you ask the client to put in their email address in order to get something, whatever the next step is in the bot. So I kind of missed that. What is the process to verify that they've given you a valid email?
Well, so you got a couple processes. So a couple process. Let's go in and go to a content real quick, and let's just call this new content. Verify email 1. And let's come in here and let's go in, and the first thing that I'm going to do is add a condition. Let's see, what should this condition be at first? So the first thing I need to do is go in here and add a new custom field called email verified. And I'll just make this guy a Boolean. Now I can reference this guy right here. Come on, guys. What are you doing to me? If this guy is false. If this guy is false, then I want to do some stuff over here. If he's true. Just let him know. So if this is not verified, then I can come in here. Actually, I'll just delete that guy. If he's false, if email is verified is false, let's have another condition and just check to see if this guy has actually given me an email. If this has any value, then we want to go in and say, we want to go in at this point and actually trigger an action group and then send our message. And then here we want to go in and send a message and say, hey, I want to get some input. Can you please provide me a valid email? So remember, this guy does not verify an email right here. This guy just goes in and makes sure that the data that we get conforms to what we would consider a valid email format. So
yeah, just the structure, but not the actual validity of the account.
Correct. So now we'll verify that email. So now that's pretty much done. All right, so now I'm just going to come to, first I'm actually going to come over here. And I'm going to come over here to this growth tool, and I'm going to create this ref URL right here. This is going to be called verify email. And I'm going to edit this guy.
So one step is to verify the email structure, just to make sure it fits an email structure, right? It has an @ symbol, etc., and it's not one of those shortened URLs you showed us yesterday. And then the second step is for them to click a link inside the email, which will confirm that they received it and therefore it was a valid email.
That's correct.
Okay. And the link that they're receiving is unique to them?
That's good.
No, not really unique. It's not really unique to them. It's just it's not unique to them it's not unique to them at all. So I mean, we could
I see.
we could pseudo make it unique to them, but it doesn't have to be unique, because I know that no one else is going to get this link other than the fact that it's the only way that they're going to get it is through their email, and they're just going to click it, and then that's just literally going to open up this flow right here, and it's going to say that their email is verified. So now maybe if I was doing this for NASA or something, then we'd want to rethink it, but since I just want to verify it so I can deliver them some content or something, I think this should be enough for those purposes. So copy. Now we can give a custom URL parameter here, but I don't think that there's any need to do that. So now we can just come in here and make a new Zap and basically choose mini chat.
Right.
This should be 2. That guy's email address. And that's
the link that would take them to the next step in the process, right?
That's just a link that's going to route them into this flow right here. That it's just a link that's going to route them right into this flow.
Okay.
And all this flow did was just tag them that they verified their email, and then put them back into this verified email flow, which will then just go in and check this tag and say, looks like you've already verified your email.
Okay. Okay, got it. I've done something somewhat similar in the past when we were developing a database system where we wanted folks to be able to give in their cell phone number so a sales rep can call them back. But we wanted to make sure we were getting valid cell phone numbers, right? So we would basically say, okay, put in your cell phone in the field. They would submit it. We would send them back a unique 3 or 4-digit access code as an SMS to their cell phone. And they would have to put that code back into the form. This way we knew we had a valid cell phone address so we can call them back.
We could do that. So we could, I mean, we could totally do that. We could kind of do the, but we could kind of do the, we could kind of do the same thing here. So we could do it for the email as well. If we wanted to modify this email, we could kind of do it for the email as well. So what we could do, what we could do, the only thing that I don't like about that is I don't know where I'm going to actually get the, oh shit, yeah, I do know where I could do that. So we could do that here. See that guy. So this guy would work just like this pretty much. I'm going to send that out. Not sure why he's telling me that I'm verified because I shouldn't be. Oh, I know why he's doing that because this guy needs to be. If email verified is false or email verified is unknown. If that's true, then go in there. So now that actually works. That honestly doesn't make any sense how he could send me back. How he could send me back that when clearly he's telling me right here that this guy is unknown. Well, not sure how I got that condition backwards. Oh, I better go in and give him my correct email address first. If I don't give him my correct email address, then it will never work. So there's that guy. So now I should get some email from that guy. Please verify your email address. I can click on that guy, and that guy should route me in and say that I've verified my email address. So now we could use that as an email validator. Another thing that we could do is basically come in. Another thing that we could do is come in here, have some custom field, email verification code, have some text. Let's say we can call it just a text. That's no problem at all. So now we can create that custom field. And then inside here, action. And let's do this. See if these guys will. Give me back some numbers spreadsheet. I actually want to do. I'm gonna do a random range probably. So I want to do that.
Yeah, the rand between probably was because that gives you a minimum and the max, right? So if 3 digits, you can choose between 1 and 999.
Oh yeah, I was just gonna multiply whatever this was by
I see.
by
Okay.
like 10,000, and then get some digit like that. But I could use either one of them. I was just planning on multiplying it by like 10,000 to get some 5-digit number. And this is, what is this? This is formatter by Zapier, spreadsheet style formula. So I'll just come in here and say formatter by Zapier. And I want to do, I think, numbers. And this should be transform spreadsheet style formula. Formula is ran between and this is going to be
Let's assume you wanted a three-digit number, so it could be anything between 101 and 999, right? So this way, it's always a 3-digit number.
Yeah, it could be a 3-digit number. Ultimately, I don't care what the number size is, but yeah, let's do a 3-digit number, and then that should.
I was only thinking 3 because we can make a variation to this where it sends out a text message instead of an email, and then the 3 digits is a lot easier for them to key in, right?
Sure. And then just in here, we want to come in here and verification code is going to be. What do you want me to do here? Is there something I was missing? I guess there must have been something that I was missing there. So that verification code is going to be that guy, his output. Not there. Oops.
Now that code would be specific to that user, correct?
That's correct.
Okay.
That's correct. And now what we want to do is just come in here and push that down. We want to come in here and push that down back to MiniChat. And that custom field. We can't necessarily say it will be specific to that user because it's a random thing. So since it's a random thing, multiple users could have that, especially if we've got,
right.
I mean, we went from 101 to 999. So what is that?
No, what I meant was that it's the only code that will work for that user.
Okay, correct.
Yeah, okay, good. Yeah.
Correct. Now, if we got, obviously that only gives us 898 possibilities. So if we got more than 898 users, then some people got the same codes. But yeah, he'll only be able to use this code.
Exactly.
And then we'll just grab this guy from there. Custom field should be email verification.
Because what we were calling this at the time, that we were producing cell phone verified leads.
Okay.
Right? Because we were having the lead authenticated by the user having received that code number and putting it back into the system. So this way we knew for sure that we had that person's cell phone number. Right. And usually from a sales side, a cell phone number is much more valuable than an email address.
And we could do the same thing here. We could just come in here and add a Twilio step here and send out. This guy already does that, by the way, and it's really, really simple. I created that we did that at the beginning of this video, Dennis. At the very beginning of this at the very beginning of this guy, we went in and did this send SMS right here.
Good. Yeah. Yeah, I know Zapier handles that through Twilio, right?
Yep. And then it's built right into my platform too, where you can send
Yeah,
that
exactly.
out. And this guy just does that. He just says, what's your phone number?
Yeah.
And then you give him his phone number. And obviously this is none of your guys' phone numbers, so you're not going to see that it's actually doing it. But this guy literally will just go in, and if I look in here in this outgoing API for Twilio, I'll see that it was 812-820-1607 as I think of the number that I used right there. And there's that outgoing text message there.
But again, like in my case, in order to build a demo bot that includes your software so I can show its value, this is where your stuff shines, because it's not just you can send the SMS, but you can track it, right? All the way from messages received back and how it continued on to a phone conversation, plus the recordings of all that.
Right, exactly. You'll be able to go in and look at that contact and see everything. And we just added in, it's in the dev site right now, but we just added in like incoming email integration as well. So if these guys are, because you can send outgoing emails. So now if these guys are sending you incoming emails, then you can see those inside the platform as well and see the whole conversation, text messages, phone calls, in and out phone calls, in and out texts, in and out emails. So this guy was finished. We did everything that we needed to do there. And then all we actually need to do is come into this guy right here in our verification guy. And then basically now have a condition that says, oh, we need to have a message here. And then what are we going to do? We're going to go in and say,
enter your code, right?
Enter your verification code. Now the only issue that I'm not quite sure how to deal with here is this condition. Is to check to see, because I can't do that if this condition.
It would have to be stored in a table, right, where that unique ID is stored, so you can go and validate it.
Well, I already got it stored here.
Oh, okay.
But I already got it stored. I already got it stored here in this. I've already got it in this guy right here. I've already got him.
Yeah, you just passed it. It's that email verification code, I think.
Yeah, I've got it right there. But how can I? The only issue is I'm almost certain that I can't reference this guy. I'm almost certain that I can't reference and do my conditional check against his custom field and see, hey, is your input matching the custom field that I have for you? Because that's what I want to do. I've got his I've got his data stored inside. I've got his data stored inside there, and I kind of want to match whatever input that he's given me. I kind of want to match that with whatever I've just pushed down into Zapier, because if not, I got to I got to store everything in a spreadsheet and then go in and look up from the spreadsheet and grab that data and check to see in Zapier if those datas are correct. And that's just, so let's see if I can do this though. Let's see if I can grab this guy right here. They're not giving me my code. Let's see, they just won't let me. CUF. I don't know if they're going to let me grab that guy right there. See, that's what I want. CUF. And they probably won't let me do that right there if that guy is that guy. See, that's what I need to actually check. That's the condition that I need to actually check, is that if this guy, if the code that he's going to give me is matching the code in his custom field that I've stored there already. So I'm almost certain that this is just not going to, I'm almost certain that this is just not going to work whatsoever here. So I'm going to have to use a third party and send this data back. I'm going to have to use a third party and actually send this data back to Zapier and have some spreadsheet that just keeps all these guys. And so I'm going to have to go in and do something like this.
Well, John, we don't need to take time on this. I mean, if there are other people also have questions.
Do any of you other people have questions, or you guys want to see this?
I have no questions. This is working out nicely.
What about anybody else? So at this point, I don't think this is necessary right here. So I can just delete this because I don't need that stupid custom field because they're not going to let me do anything with it. But I do need to go in and do sheets and send that data now. Now I need to send that data over here.
So you can store the data for that user as a row in the table, in the sheet, correct? Mm-hmm. What'll need to probably happen though is after they verify, we need to delete that row, because if they come back in again later, you don't want to have more. Right. Okay.
Right. I'll do that on my second Zap, because what I'll have to do is I'll have to go in right here, and now I'll have to go in and actually take this condition, delete this guy, take this guy right here, copy that guy, have this guy continue automatically, and come into here, and this will be trigger Zap. That, and then I'll have to come in here and then get rid of that guy completely, turn this guy into a condition that says if email is verified, come in here, put this guy into email verification code, so I'll just have to do something like this. He's going to come in, he's going to get that, he's going to trigger this guy out, Now I need to come in here and send a message here. And the only reason I need to send a message here is because I need to have a delay in order to make sure that that zap has enough time. Now I can route this guy into this condition right here. So now that guy should work fine, I'm hoping. And somewhere over here, I want to put in numbers. Output, continue, go away. Step 4 has an error. No shit, because there's nothing there. So that has an error. That doesn't have any error. So there's that flow. So let's turn that guy on real quick. And then let's come into this first flow. And basically, what I need to do is email verified is false. I really don't understand. If email verified is false, if email verified is false or email verified is unknown, if either of those are true, then I just don't understand why this condition is backwards. This condition is totally backwards and it's not working properly. If it is unknown, then I should route you there because I don't know if your email is verified. If your email verified,
Actually, John, I think the arrow is going to the wrong place, the yes one, because you're saying if it is false, it should go to message 1 that says your email has been verified when that's not correct, right?
correct.
Right.
But I did that. I did that literally, like I did that, and that's why I can't even understand is I did that, and it's like totally. I did that, and if I come over here to email verified, see if I put email verified false,
right.
and I save this, and then I push this out to myself, right? So this is false, right?
Correct.
So this is true. So it should route to say you've already verified this.
That's right.
That's what it should do. But it doesn't do that. It does the complete opposite. That's what I was racking my brain on trying to figure out is like, and these sometimes obviously get a little bit tricky, right?
Yeah.
So, because if you're doing
because it's double negative.
right,
Yeah.
if you're doing opposite, so if email verified is true, or if email verified is true, let's just do that. Oh, I got the problem. The problem was, I got the problem.
Yeah, it needed, I think, a singular instance, right? Not a dual condition.
No, I had all of these conditions, and it should be any of these conditions. So that's what the problem is, because it's not all of those conditions. So that's what the problem is. And literally the only reason I have it like that, the only reason I have it as that negative is because the only reason that I have it as that negative is because I don't like to see these lines cross each other here. And I don't want to move this guy up there to the top because this is the exit the flow. And it just really bothers me when I have lines crossing each other. So now I should be able to get the correct flow, I would say. And now I have got the correct flow. And now I can see here, I need to actually come in here and format this guy to plain text. And then actually delete those guys. So now let's just try that one more time to make sure that that is all working. And that it's working. So now I need to go in. Now I need to go in and actually create this zap here. Verify email code.
That'll retrieve that value from the table, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
Verify email. So I need to make a new zap.
So look for the MiniChat ID and pull up the 3-digit code that's associated to it.
Correct. It will basically it basically needs to, what does it need to do? It needs to actually check and see if his data has, it needs to check to see if his data is equal to the data that I have in that spreadsheet. So I'm not quite sure exactly, I'm honestly not quite sure exactly how to do that yet. So so we'll just figure that out whenever we trigger this verify email code. I know that we're actually going to do that. I know we actually have to do this. And then I know from here, we need to do a sheets lookup. I need to look up this sheet. And we need to look this up. On that guy. You know, look this guy up there. So now the only issue is here. I need to go in and do, let's just say, code by Zapier. That should do me just fine. This user code needs to be something that's coming from here. And this is going to be, I've asked the user for that code right there. I'm going to put it in email verification code. Email verification code right there. And then this guy is going to be that guy is going to be control code, so that guy is going to be that code. And then I need to cheat real quick because I can't remember exactly. Let's see, this guy's probably using Python. Oh, you know what guy is using? You know what guy is using that node function? That find emails is using that node function. So input data is what that guy is. He's input data. So what do I need to do?
Can you go back to that JavaScript and just walk through the logic, just in English? So you're
Yes.
getting the variable for user code, and that
Yes.
user code is input data, right?
Sorry about that, guys. I forget who my audience is sometimes. So yeah, in this Zapier, how this works, this is code by Zapier. Okay, so we're using Node. So here, what this is right here, this is our input data that we'll be able to access into our code. Okay, so we give it some name, and then we give it some actual source, some value to populate that. So now that we do that, we can reference these guys by using this input data dot whatever we've called this. So whenever I do input data dot this, then I can literally access this.
Right. And you're storing that in variable called UC.
Right, for you, because that's my user code, right?
Yep.
And I could probably really, if I wanted to, I could probably actually just come in and skip right to the meats and bones and just grab this guy and put him in there. I would almost be certain I could grab that guy in there and put him in there, and then I could
just compare the values without putting it into another variable, correct?
Not sure. Yeah. So yeah, so I can just completely ignore those variables there. I'm assuming. So now I'm just going to store a variable called result, and I'm just simulating a Boolean. All right, this is 0. So
0 is that it matched or it didn't match?
0 means it didn't match.
It did not.
Correct. I'm not sure yet, and I'm not even sure if. So let's just do this to make it easier.
Okay. The 3 equal signs on the line above, what does that mean?
This is a logical comparison operator. So this allows me to compare if these guys are the same. And the reason I'm using these 3 guys right here is because this is not a numeric field. This is a text field. So I could probably use these 2 guys right here because Node is actually going to go in and convert those guys and basically typecast them by seeing that they're an actual number. So Node will see that it's a number, and it will infer that guy's that. So I can go in here and see the result is 0.
It should be true or false, right? Not 0.
It should be true or false, but the first thing that I want to do is go in and set this custom field. But anyways, well, we're going to test it out and see, but it should be, you're right, it should be true or false. But at the same time, Node, at the same time, Node is actually going to go in and look first. Let's go in and change this. We're looking this guy up right there, 123. So let's just go back to this step right here and change this to 123.
Got it. Okay, now it's true.
So why it was giving me a 0, I'm assuming, is because why it was giving me a 0 is because this guy's actually holding no value. Email verification code. This guy has no value whatsoever. If I was to go back and look at this user, whoever it's, because Zapier always grabs whoever this is. So Zapier always grabs whoever this is. So I would need to come in here to their email verification code.
And add a value.
Correct.
Yep.
Of 1, 2, 3. Now that I did that, I can come back over here and basically come back up here, test this step, retest these guys, fetch and continue. So now I should be able to come down here, edit this, continue, retest this guy, create and continue, check my output, and see this guy is true, and then come in here and say that this guy is 105.
No, it should be false, right?
Now, well, all things considering, I need to come in here and actually retest this guy and look that guy up again.
Yep.
Now it's 105. So now I can go in and retest this guy.
Cool.
False. So now I can do my last little step here, which is going to be mini chat. And I'm going to do this custom field. And I'm going to go to this demo bot. And we are going to I just want you guys to know, by the way, here's this right here. Here's some messenger chat training class that you can take. It's $497. It's $497, and I guarantee you they're not going to teach you any of this shit. You're not actually going to learn how to do anything in this class, and it's $497. That's what I was laughing at, because I seen two of these today. So I actually seen two of these guys today that they're like, one was $497, one was $997, and they're like, yeah, you'll learn all this stuff. And I was like, wow, that like literally is like, that's $497. Why the hell am I teaching all this shit for free? Like, I'm charging like $3,000 for this session. So now what we want to do here is what I can't remember what that custom field was. So that custom field should be whatever. I guess it's just email verified. So we'll just grab that guy. Email verified. How about you go back in and get those guys for me? Email verified. And then that is going to be whatever this value is. And then the last thing that we want to do is come back over here and whatever this zap was, call that guy. This is our last guy up. So I think that we should be good to go in and preview this guy. Now he's just given me an email. First thing I want to do is go in and delete this guy. So I want to remember that because I need to come back and actually edit that step. So
right, you got to delete the rows. That's right.
So now I want to come in and actually what I'll probably do is there's my code, 304. Same code there, 304. Now, what I'll probably do is eliminate having to click this step. I mean, I can click this step and give it back to you, but looks like I've already verified my email, so why did that happen? It looks like I've already verified my email. Email verified. Any of these conditions, if it's false or if it's unknown. So if it's false, true. If it's unknown, true. Right? So that's actually correct. So let's go back in and look and see what I could be having here. Let's just go ahead and add in that guy. And let's delete some spreadsheet row. So my question is that something crazy has happened because I'm missing a. Oh, I better pay attention to what I'm doing here. And this does not belong there. So that guy doesn't belong there at all. That guy belongs right here. That's what's going on. I'm editing the wrong thing. So that guy doesn't belong there. So I'll go into sheets here. Now I can come in here and delete this guy.
Based on the ManyChat ID, correct?
No, probably, hopefully I'll be able just to use, I'm already holding the row ID. I should already be holding the row
Oh, I
ID
see.
from this guy. So hopefully I can go in and just delete that guy there. Yep. Got that guy. So now let's delete that guy right there. Let's come back out here. This is that guy. This is that guy. So let's preview this here. Okay. So you sent me out that. So I should have got an email. $628. Do not tell me that my email is already verified. Looks like my email is already verified. So now it's doing this weird thing again, and that's just what that's just not what I'm not understanding. It just has these guys reversed, and there's no way that this guy is reversed. So I'll just make this easier on myself, and I'll just say, you know what? If email verified is true, then I'm just going to send you there, and I'm really not going to like this at all. Just put that guy up there. I just don't really like that, and I don't want those guys to cross, and I know for a fact if I come in here, there's no way that this guy, I mean, unless there's something in this other sequence, there must be something in that other sequence. Where is this other sequence at? So, in this other sequence, that's what I'm not, where, I'm just not getting how is he. That's what's actually happening. That's what's happening. That's what's happening. That was there. So I need to get rid of this starting condition right here. I need to get rid of this starting condition right here. Actually, and I need to do something. I need to actually come over here. What I need to do is I'm going to the completely wrong flow anyway. So what I need to do is come over here, not to this guy. I need to go to this guy right here, edit this guy to let's just come to this growth tool right here and see if there's any way that we can delete this guy. Replace this guy with that wasn't that guy. Maybe that will work now. That should work now. So that's what the problem's been this whole time, is I'm just not.
You were in the wrong flow?
Yeah, I just never published my flow, so I actually never published it. So I should be able to actually come in here now and now go in and click this guy, and then that actually take me to ask me for that code now. Yeah. So he's asking me for that code, 628. So that guy will look like he was fine. Email has any value? That's our own guy right there. That's this guy. Your email is not verified. So let's go in one more time.
And put the wrong code in, right?
No. I put the right code in. Yeah.
No, I said you want to go one more time in and do it to see the error message comes up, right?
I want to go in one more time and see that. First off, maybe I'll just delete some of these million open tabs I have here.
You got enough tabs there, John?
This is what that work life looks like. Whenever all day long you gotta do work. That's what it looks like now. So here we go. Let's find this guy. I needed to find John Vaughn. And then come back into this email verified. And set that guy. And then now I can go back in and yep, I can push that out to myself. Now he sent me out some email. Now I got some email. I got a new code, 678. Let's verify that email. That's 678, so I'm just going to give 123.
Mm-hmm.
And he should say, your email is not verified. So.
Awesome. Very cool, John.
So that took a little bit of ingenuity to go in, and that was
well, it was a different problem than we've seen before, in our sessions, right? So, but it's very useful. Again, from the email side, it might be somewhat redundant because you can always verify the email by them simply clicking on the link. Otherwise, they wouldn't get it. But from a cell phone verification, this is pretty interesting, right? Because now they can give you a number, and you can just send them out the code via Twilio or via your platform. And then they would receive it and verify it. And now that lead has a much higher value to a salesperson than email.
Right. And now all we would literally do is go back to that step and replace the Gmail step with a Twilio step.
That's right. Or with your system, right.
From any system, my system, Twilio, anything.
Well, again, I want to start using your system to build some demos, in part to get some traction for what you got, because you have a really cool tool. But not enough people know about it, obviously, because it just launched, right?
Oh, we haven't launched yet. We don't market it at all. What we do with that, we don't market it at all. We use it really for whenever I get new clients and they want to see some of the complex stuff that we've done, and then we also offer this to people, which is like a white labeled version of it. So we'll go in and launch it behind your own domain so that you can start your own business and let those guys do all the marketing. But for us, it's a really, really functional tool. And at some point we'd like to market it, but we just use it really as a showcase. Hey, we can do complex stuff.
That's why it kind of stuck in my head when I saw it. I saw how it could be used, and I wanted to be able to give it some more exposure. So that's where this session was helpful. Because now that we have this verification piece, it brings even that much more sense to integrate it with your platform, because it's not just about sending a text message, it's that entire log of activity, right? The entire history log. Whether or not the rep stays with the company owns the relationship, not the rep.
Correct. And the
that's
company
the key.
they'll still have all the data.
Exactly.
And whenever that customer's calling, they're still calling
right.
that same number. And even that phone number, if you want, you can configure that phone number to forward out to 100 different phone numbers at one time. So you could essentially have one phone number, and your customer calls that, you got 15 sales agents. As soon as that customer calls in, 15 people are getting a phone call at the same time. First come, first serve. So
no, it's very cool. Well, we'll talk offline, John. I want to see how I can help incorporate some of that. I think people should know about your tool, obviously. Otherwise, we wouldn't be spending the time talking about it now either. But I like what it does. I just want to make sure we can get it out there a little bit more.
Right. Well, definitely appreciate that. And it does do this other thing as well. It does give you these little guys as well. I don't know if I told you about that, but it lets you create these little widgets right inside the software so that you can just deploy them to your website and collect those leads right from your website.
Yep.
And most of my time consumption in creating this guy was the fact that I just had so much shit going on at one time and I didn't finish. That's why I always recommend to you guys, focus on one thing. Do one thing. You see, even I'm an engineer. I'm a very educated engineer. I've been doing this for a really long time, and I'm trying to focus on building two flows at the same time, and it took me way too much time to do that. If I would have just focused on one step at a time, we would have been done through that a long time ago. And I could have really realized that. Why am I keep getting this same step? Well, it's because it's literally because I'm putting somebody into the wrong actual flow. So.
Just one last comment, John. What you've shown in various sessions are some of these flows that you've labeled as being generic that can be used across multiple situations, correct?
Correct.
I think it'd be very helpful for everybody. I'm not sure how you would do this necessarily, but even from being able to, if we could have somehow a copy of the demo bot, so we can go through those modules that you've built out, those generic ones, because it'll help visualize the logic that was in place, right?
Right.
Now, in order to pull that off on our end, we might have to recreate the custom fields, as you were saying before, but that's fine, right? So as long as we know what the field names are and whether it's text, etc., that it has to be, we can set that up on our end. Then we can receive the demo bot, and then we can actually use it as almost an instruction manual that we can go through full of case samples. Because otherwise, conceptually, it makes sense. But you fly through things, obviously, at a much faster rate than most of us will if we try to recreate, right?
Right.
So I think that would be extremely helpful so that the teachings sink in. And not just wow people, but actually let them implement.
Right. And that's the whole purpose of these. The whole purpose of these isn't so you guys are like, wow, look at all this stuff. It's so that you can actually go in and now do this on your own and implement it in your own bot and not have to pay these people some some $497 to learn how to
learn GIFs.
I mean, shit. Guys, I mean, seriously, you got some GIFs, you're all set, because that's gonna be useful. So that's the whole purpose of these, is so that you guys can really learn how to create. I mean, there's only so much you can do with the content bot, right? You got some bot is just vomiting out some content to people. There's only you're not going to be able to sell that to so many people. I mean, not so many people. Most of your clients are going to want functionality in their bot, especially when you mention a bot in automation and you're like, hey, I'll build you a bot. I can automate all this stuff. Well, what can you automate? I can send content out automatically. Well, great. I could hire, I could pay you some, I could pay you some $2,000-$3,000 for your content automation bot, or I can just call John up and hire one of his software engineers for $500 month, and they can work for me for 5 months and do all my content and build something for me. So these guys are going to want functionality. They're going to want some actual functionality in their bot. And
Sure.
I haven't taken this class for $497, but I've read it. And I would say that you're not going to get that much functionality.
Yeah, no,
You're not going to get that much functionality here. And you need, if you want to be able to sell a high ticket bot, I mean, if you want to sell a bot for $200, $500, yeah, probably all you're going to get for that bot is to be able to vomit out some content to somebody. But if you want to get a high ticket for what you're selling, then you need to give some functionality. If I can show somebody that I can save you 5 hours a week every week for the next 52 weeks, right? I just saved you 250 hours. Yeah, I mean, and you value your time at $100. I just saved you $25,000. So now what are you going to pay me for that bot? You won't
John,
do it with gifts.
This has been very helpful, at least to me. I'm hoping it was helpful to everybody else. And I definitely take a break before your next one.
Yeah, I'll take a little break. D, you know how to do all this? You got all this now, D? You can do it all now? I think D passed.
She passed out.
It's like, man, this is too much. Her kids are probably tugging at her feet right now, asking for some peanut butter and jelly. Hopefully the rest of you guys. But I will send the replays. The replays are in the bot. So if you have any questions, you can just go back in and
Okay, cool.
watch at your own pace and see exactly how to do all these things. And what I plan on doing is taking all these trainings and go back in. And I don't know how I'm going to do it, because right now I've got, and already there's like some 28 hours worth of these pre-training videos.
Yep.
I'll have to go
Sure.
back in and watch, and then itemize, and then go in and actually create a new tutorial videos to go in and show this particular process. But you guys have access to all that, so you can go back in and easily watch and see exactly how to do this if we went too fast, or if you're still a little confused about it. This custom code stuff, don't let this custom code stuff get in your way, because this is pretty straightforward. And a little googling, you can find this out. And if you can, just send me a message or something. I'll send you this code snippet or help you with your actual code snippet.
John, do you want me to keep thinking through some other situations like this to kind of push it a little bit, or do you want me to back off a little bit?
I love it if you could keep thinking of stuff like that, because it's real good content. So for me, it's really helpful, because then I can go in and update my page and say, we don't do gifts, we do real stuff. It's great for me to be able to go in and actually work out in real time and in a real scenario to things that most people, like if I was to post this video in the mini chat group, they would just be like, holy shit, you can do that. I didn't know you could do that. And pretty much everything you can do. I mean, if you want to do it, if there's a will, a way, you just have to think. I mean, you look at most of these things, I try one way and I start doing it and I'm like, well, that's not actually going to work. Maybe we need to do it this way. And then once we think about it enough, we'll figure out the solution. So pretty much anything that we're trying to accomplish, we'll get to it. We just have to think about it a little bit.
Right.
That's called engineering, though.
All right, John. Well, again, this has been extremely helpful, so I really appreciate it.
Yeah.
I got to head out and pick up my my kids. So let me take care of that.
All right. Have a good one.
Thanks, buddy.
Yep. Anybody else have anything they want to go over while we're here?
Bye, guys.
The rest of you guys overloaded as well. Colin, what about you, buddy? You guys all fell asleep or what? See you, Colin. So I think that would be a little good time to take a break for now. I'll take a little break, and then maybe let's check and see what time it is. I know I've got a client call that I've been pushing off for a while. So So I will see you guys on the next training. Thank you so much for coming to this one.